We were talking in the pre-show about things we had been catching up on, and Kevin had mentioned several things that he had been watching. And one of the things that that 3 out of the 4 of us have seen is the new Dungeons and Dragons movie. We're not gonna do any spoilers or anything else like that. We just wanted to briefly give our thoughts on it. And Kevin, you hit the nail on the head. That movie was much better than it should have been.
Yeah, are you guys? I mean, I think I referenced this in our Patreon portion, but are you familiar with a German director? His name is Uwe Boll. He took advantage of some subsidies that the industry had at one point to make some of the most horrible video game adaptations of all time.
His House of the Dead.
It was everything he did was he said he made a statement at one point, I hate video games. So he intentionally tried to make them as absolutely horrible as possible.
What a jerk.
And when I first saw this trailer, I was like, is Uwe Boll back? It looks so bad. I was like, it's gonna have It's gonna have an all-star cast in it. But it's like, what can they do with this? And the trailer looks so cheesy. But then you get into the movie, and the movie is cheesy, but it works.
Oh,
and
it's
it's
so good.
Freaking good.
Yeah, because seeing the trailer ahead of time, I was like,
Yeah, it was one of those, okay, maybe on a rainy day.
Yeah.
Which a couple weeks ago, my kids were up here, and my daughter was just like, I was like, what do you guys want to do this weekend? We didn't have anything planned. And she's like, can we just go to the movies? And I was like, yeah, what do you want to go see? And so we just ultimately decided, you know what? Let's just bite the bullet and go see Dungeons and Dragons, just for the heck of it. And wow.
Yeah.
That was a complete surprise
at
how good it was.
And funny.
Yeah. Very funny.
Very funny.
Very funny. So it's taken me, and our friend Rookie, David Rookie Rayleigh, has been after me for years to play Dungeons and Dragons. I had a friend in high school that wanted me to get into Dungeons and Dragons, and I played it a couple of times over at his house, and didn't really get into it then. You know, and back in the 80s and early 90s, I mean, Dungeons and Dragons, especially here in Alabama in the South, was a no-no. It was the devil's game. And Mom, you know, when I remember in high school mentioning that to her, that, you know, hey, we're over at my friend's house, we played Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, she lit into me.
That's the only gateway drug that's stronger than marijuana.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. So yeah, I never tinkered with Dungeons and Dragons. Never really enjoyed it. I didn't even, you know, get into like role-playing games and stuff like that until I was in the Air Force when Ultima Online came around. And I gave that a try. Could you imagine
playing D&D with Dave with Rookie though?
My gosh! I had a character sheet. I made a character sheet, and it just things during that time of life were not ideal for me to actually enjoy life a whole lot. I'll just put it that way. Yeah. So I tried I tried once, and it just didn't work. And then of course, Rook goes off to, he's now living in Orlando, so I can't play with him or whatever else. But you know, we talked about during the episode, the last episode where we went to Huntsville to the con up there, and I started looking for dice, and this is before we'd seen the movie. And I was like, I may tinker with this. This movie sucked me right in.
Yeah.
To wanting to play. I've started rewatching the old 80s cartoons on YouTube. I started buying the figures and collecting the dice with those. And, you know, for my birthday, I've asked for like the starter set that you can find it at Target in the board game section and stuff. So now this movie caused me to get on a kick. And thankfully it's not an expensive kick.
Well, the thing is like, you know, kind of watching a movie. I don't know a lot about D&D. I haven't never been partaked in a game. I'm kind of the same boat as you, Brock. It's like I know, and I'm watching a movie, and I'm like, that smells like an inside joke. I would get that if I do D&D. I could tell. I'm gonna laugh because I don't get it fully, but it seems like it's really funny, kind of thing. So there was a lot of that sprinkled throughout the movie, where like if you played the game, you'd be like, "Ha! Yeah. That happened to me in the game," or something like that, you know.
But the nice thing about the movie is you don't need to know the game to
Mm-mm.
enjoy the movie.
Right.
That was
right.
nice.
Yeah.
I hope that they make a sequel to it. I
Chris
hope they,
Pine as a bard was insane.
Oh, so good.
That he was so freaking good.
I love Chris Pine, so I'm and I'm glad that he's part of this movie because he did a really good job with it.
Yeah, they all did. All the
Mhm.
actors did.
Yeah.
I think
Had
Michelle
like
Rodriguez.
no combat skills whatsoever, but would just pull his loot out and start playing it.
If you've seen the movie, and not to spoil anything, but the graveyard scene, that's all I'm gonna
Oh.
say. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that graveyard scene, it owned me. It was
Oh yeah.
so. I'm not gonna go into it, not gonna spoil anything, but if you've
No.
seen the movie, you know what I'm
Go see
talking
it.
about. Yeah. Go see
Well,
it.
it's out on digital now. It's leaving the theaters, but you can buy it now on digital.
Yeah.
And we normally don't buy physical copies of movies anymore. That's coming home.
Mhm.
I'm getting a physical copy of that one. That's how good that movie was.
And I'm just going to put this out there. If anybody listening purchased the popcorn bucket from AMC and you want to part with it, I would like to pay you what AMC charged you for the bucket.
Not gonna happen.
Is that the one that's like the D20?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Brock mentioned he even mentioned wanting the popcorn bucket before we'd even seen the movie because, it's like he's kind of taken a liking to the dice. And he's like, that popcorn bucket's really cool. Well, of course, they're sold out on AMC's website. And
And at the theaters.
at the theater. So
Brock is taking a
did
liking
you just
to
look
the
on
devil's
eBay?
dice.
Woo-hoo, that's a lot for a popcorn bucket.
which price are you seeing right now?
Top 3, 270, 295,
Mhm.
295.
Yeah, for a popcorn
No,
bucket.
I found one for about half that price.
Mhm.
But I do not want to pay more than $100 for a popcorn bucket because they sold them for $35. What I'm hoping is we're going to restock them on AMC's site. Like it took them a while to restock the Ectomobile.
Yeah.
So I'm holding out for that. But if that doesn't happen, I'm not paying. For a popcorn bucket. I refuse to pay that. I'll enjoy my oversized die that came with with Dungeon Master and Venger from the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, the Target exclusive figures.
So just from y'all's talking about this movie, this sounds very like one of those. Like it sounds very 80s and 90s. They took a chance with a property, and it actually wound up
Yes.
people enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
And
think it kind of looked like even probably the director and everybody was probably really surprised at just how well it turned out. Like how
Mhm.
well the characters meshed together, how well the
Mhm.
actors did together. Everything about the movie just feels like I'm willing to bet if you were on set, it was just magical. Like the whole
Yeah.
thing was just
They
magical.
probably had
It just
fun
has that
making it.
feeling to it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, just like I said, watching the movie, it just made it was fun. It was good.
Yeah,
It was
it's a fun
fun.
movie.
It felt really good to be there watching the movie and to come away with, like I said, having fun.
And again, no spoilers, but if you saw like the final trailer heading into it,
Mhm.
you can see in the background of the arena scene the characters from the 80s cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're in there and they get a little bit more playtime in the movie than you would think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Mhm.
And so both my kids are definitely not familiar with, if I'm not familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, my kids definitely aren't. But they both adored it.
Mhm.
They were walking out of the movie going, that was not what we expected. That was awesome.
That was fun. Yeah.
But I was sitting there during the movie when the cartoon characters showed up, and I'm like, okay, that's Hank, that's Diana.
Mhm.
I'm getting to point them out because I have a vague recollection of them now. But I've definitely got this first wave of D&D cartoon figures that's coming out, and I think in August, Hasbro's releasing the next wave of them.
Mhm.
I just want them to do. I want them to do another D&D movie, like a sequel to this, and make the villain be Vecna. That would be so funny.
Yeah.
That would be so funny because of Stranger Things. Here's Vecna for real. And I mean, one of the characters in there, you kind of get the feeling that he might have been Vecna. In there, you know what I'm talking about when they were when he was talking to the other, like the Red Wizard, and I was like,
Yeah,
looks like
yeah.
Vecna, but it turned out it's not Vecna.
I
I'm like,
was
oh
kind
god,
of
this is probably worse.
I was honestly seeing if there was going to be anything mentioned. The word Vecna was going to be mentioned in this movie.
Yeah.
So
Vecna, Demigorgons, any of those
Yeah.
other things, that are old D&D. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't realize that that's what, if it's been so long, I mean, God, how long has Stranger Things been going on? It's really easy to forget that a lot of this stuff, these
Yeah.
villains
Mhm.
originated with D&D. That's all D&D villains.
Yep.
Yep.
yeah,
Mm.
Yep.
that's it.
So yeah, if you ever had a chance to see Dungeons and Dragons, it comes with a stamp of approval from all of us. It
Yeah.
really does. It's
All of us
Bo
that
would
have
have-
seen it.
Bo would
I'll-
approve too
I'll-
if he saw it.
I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up either on physical or whenever they drop it
Yeah.
on Max.
So like I said, you should. Yeah, they've got it out now. It's starting to come out, so you
Yeah.
should be able to do that very soon.
super good movie, super fun movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just fun.
And it just feels good to have a movie like that, just to go
Mhm.
see a movie that you just have fun with and walk away, with that feeling.
Yeah. I mean, look what it did for me. I mean, now I'm starting to buy things. I've got all the movie figures, what they've released so far, sitting in my Amazon cart, waiting for the prices to drop. Because all the cartoon D&D figures, when they first came out, I mean, they were $25 a piece, except for that dual set that was exclusive to Target of Dungeon Master and Avenger. That was $50, and then our local Target dropped them in half,
Mhm.
and I snagged them up,
Yeah.
for half price and saved a whole bunch of money. So that's what I'm waiting on for these movie figures, but I
Mhm.
definitely want them.
Brock is a gateway drug. Pretty soon you're gonna be playing with the devil's dice,
Hey,
and
Hey,
you're gonna
he's got
let's roll, baby, right here. Look at that, right there.
Hey,
I'm ready.
Yeah.
get Oliver's
Your
stuff.
mama's rolling over her grave.
Yeah, get that
Hang-
800-pound and 100 side die that Oliver got.
No, no
Uncle.
kidding. Boy, he hasn't dropped it on his foot yet, has he?
And well, they're not that he's told me so.
He dropped it at Huntsville. That thing made a thud.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, one of the things that keeps coming up on my feeds for like TikTok and stuff is like I didn't even realize, but there's actually a D1 that exists in Dungeons and Dragons. That's just like it's you like literally dropping it, it always lands on 1 because it's a 1. So there's actually a D1 that exists.
Oh, I got to show you this. I'll be remiss if I didn't show you this. I'm going to have to get up. You guys.
I gotta go get my D1. Hang on.
No, it's close. I'll be right back.
Yeah, D1 looks like a little stick of chalk with like the ends kind of lobbed off at an angle, and you just like drop it and it just lands on 1.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm more intrigued to play Dungeons and Dragons thanks to the Ghostbuster game because now I got the general idea what it's supposed to
Yeah,
be like. So now that's kind of opened my horizons.
Right.
So I got to show you this. This was. I'm really ready to play Dungeons and Dragons because I got Cobra dice.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah.
They've got
Nice.
from GI Joe. They got the Cobra emblem, but that coin right there is a D2. So it's
Oh.
like the heads and tails.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I'm telling you, Brock has he's
I've gone
really
in.
he's taken a love to the dice and then seeing the movie and now it's progressing. So yeah.
My husband, he got a gnarly love of the dice.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
dice.
and
Yeah.
pretty soon we were living on the street.
He got a love of the dice.
We roll a D12 to see where our next apartment will be.
And I could totally age myself, Brock, and you said that was a D2, and I'm like, man, that is an awesome looking pog. That's a slammer, man.
Yeah.
Well, maybe when we can all gather together in person at some point in time, maybe we can look into the whole, because we all need to. This is something we could all learn together and look at, something that's new to all of us.
Yeah,
so.
I'm
look,
telling you.
The good thing about that Ghostbusters game is, it's kind of an entry level because you don't have to have a dungeon master. The game does it for you. It already has the scenario pre-done.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas in D&D, you've got to make your scenario, which makes it even cooler.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, like Bo and I, we're semi friends with Mark Meir.
Yeah.
Who did the voice for Commander Shepard in Mass Effect, and Mark is one of the premier dungeon masters.
Yeah. Which, knowing how he is and his performance, I could see where he is incredible.
Yeah, because he's an improv master. He's so good. He does a lot of improv comedy with Colin Mockery and guys like that.
which you need to be.
Hmm.
You need that to be able to roll with being a D&D dungeon master, because
Growing dungeon.
you always get some jerk in there like me that's like that always does the thing that you didn't think of in your scenarios.
Yeah.
That's
I pull
why
my
it's
pants down and then run through the room naked or something like that, you know? He's like, all right, I guess we can roll a D2 for that one to see if it succeeded.
Well, during the pandemic, when Dragon Con went virtual in 2020,
Mhm.
Mark, I remember we were down at our friend Chris's house in Opelika. Jess and I were, and we were down there watching some of those panels, and we pulled up Mark hosting a virtual Dungeons and Dragon round.
That's the one Colin Mockery was in, wasn't it?
Mm,
Okay.
I
He
can't
was-
remember,
Okay. I'm trying to-
but yeah, Mark was doing it was a Zoom D&D session, and he was the dungeon master, and it was just magnificent to watch.
That's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to see if we can line it up with Rook, something Zoom, to get involved, to figure out some, because I'm telling you, he's screaming at us right now. I'm telling you, he has been dying for us to.
I know that would be fun, but the thing is, that's
In
like,
person.
I mean, seriously, that's like getting
Yeah.
Rookie through a computer screen. You're only getting like
Yeah.
10% Rookie. You need 100% Rookie for that.
Yeah. And I sent him a picture of the dice I bought up in Huntsville, and he just wrote back in big letters, "Love," with hearts. So yeah, the movie has certainly spurned an interest.
Mm.
And like I said, thankfully it's inexpensive, because all you need is paper and dice, basically.
And an imagination.
Yeah, which Lord knows I've got to work on that.
Which is funny.
You
You talk about,
know,
I mean, think
Go ahead.
other things like tying into it, like Ready Player One has a lot of elements it draws from
Yeah.
D&D. That made me think of it. Sorry, my brain went there.
No,
well,
yeah.
did anybody, totally different subject, but did anybody watch the what do they call it, where the British king became a king thing?
Oh, the
with
coronation.
Charles?
Coronation.
I
Coronation.
did. I
That thing-
watched that.
Nope.
Yes.
Did anybody else like saw he was holding the thing and it like it's a holy hand grenade?
I did
Yes.
see that, yeah.
I was like,
It's a thermal
1, 2,
detonator.
5.
There's-
3, sir.
There's only been one coronation in my lifetime I cared about that. And that was with Macho King Randy Savage. That was the only coronation that ever mattered.
Look, I am a mark for British royalty. I'll admit it.
Well, you're a child of the 80s, and a lot of ladies your generation, y'all, yeah, that's
I have interest in the royal family and the history of the royal family. That's just who I am.
They're a bunch
Yeah.
of pampered mascots.
And I was recently in the Commonwealth, so that was on. And the funny thing was like no one cared down there. Like no one cared. There was like nothing.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I give a rip
I mean,
about the
they
royal
had,
family.
and I'll speak a little bit about more about it in a few. But they had, when I first got there, they had Anzac Day, which is kind of like their Memorial Day, that they really like. Everybody stops at noon and does nothing except salute. It was a big deal for them. But like the actual coronation, no, they didn't care. I didn't hear anything about it.
made me think before we get you too much off on your trip, since we're going to talk about royal families.
Mhm.
Please tell me, acknowledge their true royal family, the family of the Blue Healers.
Yes.
Is that the royal family of down there? I know they're more.
I didn't
Australian.
hear about them much.
Oh, that's
but I was close to the studio that made it.
Oh, Ludo.
um,
Yeah. Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Mhm.
Nice.
I was curious. I was going to bring that up, but okay, good deal.
Mhm.
All right.
They are definitely the royal family down there for sure.